All right, so let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION at this hour. According to a White House official, the American President Donald Trump has suspended military aid to Ukraine, sharply escalating the pressure on Kiev to agree to the peace negotiations with Russia. Now, this report has come after the American President Donald Trump had condemned the Ukrainian President Zelensky for saying that a deal to end the war with Russia is in fact very far away. Now, Trump called Zelensky's assertion the worst statement to have been made by him. Now, the American president has warned that he would not put up much longer with Zelensky's stance on the war.
I want to see it end fast. I don't want to see this go on for years and years. Now, President Zelensky supposedly made a statement today in AP. I'm not a big fan of AP, so maybe it was an incorrect statement, but he said he thinks the war's going to go on for a long time. And he better not be right about that. That's all I'm saying.
Now, the latest remarks have come after the Ukrainian president accused Russia of not being serious about peace. Now, Zelensky has reiterated that tough security guarantees were the only way to end this conflict. Now, the American president has also stepped up his threats, hinting that Zelensky won't be around very long without a ceasefire deal with Moscow.
We have to make a deal, and the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It can be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal, and if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long. Because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else.
Now, Trump has said that Zelensky should be more appreciative of the billions and billions of dollars of military aid that Washington has sent in financing this war.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us, because as you know, that's right there, that's the border. This country really was like the fence on the border. It was very important to Europe, and I'm not knocking Europe. I'm saying that they were a lot smarter than Joe Biden.
Now, during an event at the White House, however, Donald Trump had played down reports that he could halt military aid.
Have you decided if you're going to suspend military aid to Ukraine? Have you made that decision?
Well, I haven't even talked about that right now. I mean, right now, we'll see what happens. A lot of things are happening right now as we speak. I mean, literally as we speak. I could give you an answer and go back to my office. The beautiful Oval Office. I could go back into the Oval Office and find out that the answer is obsolete.
Now, in addition, the U.S. president has offered hope that a minerals deal that fell through last week due to the row could be revived.
The Ukraine minerals deal now dead, or can it be revived? What's your...
Well, I'll let you know. We're making a speech. You probably heard about it tomorrow night, so I'll let you know tomorrow night. But no, I don't think so. I think it's a great deal for...
Meanwhile, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in his nightly addresses, said that he wants the fastest possible end to the war in his country. But ceasefire without U.S. security guarantees will be a failure.
We need peace, real honest peace, not endless war. And we need security guarantees. It was the lack of security guarantees for Ukraine 11 years ago that allowed Russia to start with the occupation of Crimea and the war in Donbass.
Now, on the ground, the Ukrainian officials have reported fatalities from a Russian missile strike on a military training facility some 130 kilometers from the front line. However, according to a US-based Institute for the Study of War, the Russian forces advanced less on Ukrainian territory in February than in the preceding months. Now, the ISW data shows that Moscow has advanced about 389 square kilometers in February, after advances of 431 square kilometers in January and 476 square kilometers in December 2024. All right, now to give us more insights into this, we're joined by Dr. Volker Stanzel, who's a former German ambassador and senior distinguished fellow at the SWP German Institute for International and Security Affairs. Ambassador Walker, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us here in WION. Let me in fact start off by asking you this. You know, the reports that the United States wants to cut off more military aid to Ukraine. Do you think this is something that the United States is likely to do? And if that were to happen, will Europe now stand up and fill in the void that will be created by the lack of US military aid for the defense of Ukraine?
Thanks first for having me. This is indeed an enormous problem, especially for us Europeans who probably will have to step in for the United States in aiding Ukraine. Now, will the US really halt their aid? I think considering the way Trump pursues his policies, I think we have to calculate that he will indeed halt all aid. And the question is, what is the consequence? For the US, it will mean that it is closer to Russia. You've seen already the gleeful reactions in Russia after the meeting between Zelensky and Trump on TV. For Ukraine, it will mean that it comes closer to defeat, despite what you just mentioned, that Russian progress is slowing down, but it is still progress. And now, with Ukraine lacking manpower anyway, now also lacking sufficient ammunition and US intelligence, cyber intelligence, the situation becomes almost untenable. We will see how it will evolve. And that for the European Union, not only the European Union,
right,
also the United Kingdom and Norway, that means that we have to consider how to step in.
Interesting. Now, Donald Trump on more than one occasion has said that there's a big, beautiful ocean that separates the United States from Europe. Now, the European nations and the United States are very close NATO partners. Are we to, in that case, infer that the security objectives of Europe are now different from the security objectives of the United States of America? And will Germany now consider perhaps going nuclear, because the United States' security umbrella as part of the NATO military alliance does not seem to be that very concrete?
Let me begin with your last point. President Macron has already more than once offered to widen the nuclear umbrella, also covering Germany, which of course would entail that Germany would have to cooperate in working that nuclear umbrella well. So I think this question is coming towards us very fast if the United States does not change its attitude about NATO. But you have quoted President Trump. That may have been a threat only, but we have to consider that he will indeed take the United States gradually out of NATO. And then what will we do? This will be extremely costly. It will also mean we will have to decide whether the EU will have its own defense organization, or will it have will we have a European defense organization, including the United Kingdom and Norway and maybe others? These are enormous questions which will come to us. But the first question will be, what do we do to help Ukraine? The head of the European Commission has announced this morning that Europe would be able to provide 800 billion euro during this year to Ukraine, which would go much farther than what the United States have been providing so far. But still, it will be an enormous task to achieve that.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Ambassador Stanzel, for joining us with that very comprehensive perspective as to how things stand at this moment with respect to the security of Europe. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.